Let's determine the total revenue. So let's write the formula for revenue. The formula for revenue, which is represented by R, this equals quantity purchased or quantity sold times price of each unit. Here, the quantity sold is represented by the letter Q, and we are given the equation for price in terms of Q, so we can utilize this equation. So I write down the price of each unit as 18 minus of 0.4 Q. We simplified this equation by distributing the Q into the terms inside the brackets. When we do that, Q times of 18 is 18Q, and Q times of negative zero point 0.4 Q is negative 0.4 Q square. So this is the expression for the revenue in terms of the quantity Q. In part B, we determine the number of units to be sold so that the revenue must be at least $200. So here I'm going to set up this inequality, that is revenue must be at least $200. So in equality, we use this greater than or equal to 200. This equality satisfies that the revenue must be at least $200. Now we substitute the value of the revenue equation, which we found in part A. The revenue equation R is 18Q minus zero point 0.4 Q square. This has to be greater than or equal to 200. We see that we have a decimal quantity here. So I'm going to remove the decimal quantity by multiplying the complete equation by 10. So that is, on both sides, I multiply by 10, which means each term of the terms on the both sides will be multiplied by 10. So 18 times 10 is 180, and this becomes 180Q. And minus zero point 0.4 times of 10 is 4. So this becomes 4Q square greater than or equal to 200 times of 10 is 2000. Now I'm going to bring everything into one side, that is this negative 4Q square. I can transpose it to the other side, as well as this 18Q I can transpose it to the other side. So there will be 0 greater than or equal to 4Q square, where negative 4Q square transposed to the right side, it will become positive 4Q square, and this 180Q will become negative 180Q, and we already have positive 2000 on the right side. So we are getting this type of inequality. In fact, we can rearrange this and write down this as like this, that is 4Q square minus of 180Q plus 2000. This is less than or equal to 0. Now we can factorize this, or we can divide all the terms by 4 to make this look like a simple equation. So we divide completely by 4. When we do that, we get Q square minus 180 divided by 4 is 45. So this becomes 45Q plus 2000 divided by 4 is 500, is less than or equal to 0 by 4 is 0. Now we can factorize this quadratic expression. This is Q squared minus 45Q plus 500 is a quadratic expression which can be factored into product terms as Q minus of 25 times of Q minus of 20, and this is less than or equal to 0. We can verify this because Q times Q is Q squared, and then negative 25 negative 20 is positive 500, and we have negative 25Q and negative 20Q, which is negative 45Q. So it satisfies this equation. So this product factors are correct. We now solve this inequality, that is Q minus 25 times of Q minus 20 less than or equal to 0. So basically we can consider this as two equations or inequality, that is Q minus 25 times of Q minus 20. This is equal to 0, as well as Q minus 25 times of q minus 20. This is less than 0. It must satisfy both conditions, the value of q that we are going to figure out. So when we consider this equation, we get the values of q or the solution set is q equals 25, comma q equals 20. When q equals to 25 or q equal to 20, this equation satisfy, that is, it will become 0. And here this is an inequality. Since we already figured out that q is this expression is 0 when q is 20 or q is 25, we can represent this on the number line, that is this is 20 and this is 25, this is q. So whenever it is less than 0, usually the solution will lie in this interval, that is the q will be greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 25. So we say that this is the solution set. We can represent that q is greater than or equal to 20, q is greater than or equal to 20 and less than or equal to 25. When we combine with this solution as well as this solution from this inequality, we get this complete values of q. So this is the range of q that we have found out, such that the revenue is at least $200. So it the number of units that must be sold is greater than or equal to 20 and less than or equal to 25 units. This is the number of units that must be sold. And this answers this question.